Welcome to the CalPERS Pre-Retirement Survivor Benefits video presentation. Before we get to the main presentation, let's take care of some housekeeping items. To provide you with the future reference and to make your note-taking easier, we've provided a digital notes and resource guide for this presentation. The link to the guide is in the YouTube description box. Please note that due to the large number of participants, even though the chat feature is active, we won't be able to respond to member questions during this video presentation. If you have questions, please contact us directly through your MyCalPERS account or by calling our customer service contact center. This video is intended for members who are not yet retired and explains how they can pass on benefits to their family or designated beneficiary in the event of their death. The information in this video is a general overview and may not be able to answer all of your pre-retirement survivor benefit questions, nor should this be the sole source of information on the topic. We do have other information that you can access on our website, and again, you can contact us if you have specific questions. In this presentation, we will discuss beneficiaries and survivors, possible pre-retirement survivor benefits payable, and reporting the death of a CalPERS member. We will also briefly touch on emergency retirement applications. Let's get started by discussing beneficiaries and survivors. The terms beneficiary and survivor may sound like the same thing, but at CalPERS, they have two distinct meanings. A beneficiary can be anyone of your choosing or designated by statutory order. Beneficiaries for lump sum benefits can include any person, organization, your trust, or class of people. A class is a group of individuals that you can choose to leave your benefit to, such as children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, and so on. By selecting a class, you do not have to declare each individual of that type. Upon your death, we will divide your benefit among all individuals in that class. You make your selection using a beneficiary designation. Having a valid beneficiary designation on file with us is extremely important. There are two ways to designate a beneficiary. The easiest way is by logging in to your MyCalPERS account, or you can submit the pre-retirement lump sum beneficiary designation form, which is available for download on our website. This can be submitted to us by mail or fax. Your spouse or registered domestic partner will receive their community property share of the death benefit, even if you name someone else as a beneficiary. The remainder will be paid to your designated beneficiary. There are certain life events that will cause your current beneficiary designation to be revoked. In these cases, you will want to complete a new beneficiary designation. These events include a marriage or registration of a domestic partnership, annulment, dissolution of marriage, or termination of a registered domestic partnership, birth or adoption of a child, and lastly, if you receive a refund of your contributions, refunding terminates your CalPERS membership. If no valid beneficiary designation exists, benefits are paid by statutory order. The statutory order is as follows. First, to be paid is your spouse or registered domestic partner, and if none, your children, whether they are natural or adopted. If none, your parents, and so on. A survivor is a family member defined in the law as eligible to receive specific benefits upon your death prior to retirement. Not all survivors are eligible to receive each type of benefit payable, but we will discuss eligibility for specific survivors as we go through the monthly benefits.
Now that we've looked at who may receive a benefit after your death, let's look at possible death benefits payable. There are numerous factors that determine what benefits may be payable. These factors include membership category. For example, you could be a state miscellaneous or a public agency safety member. If you are unsure, you could find your membership category on your MyCalPERS account. Your employer's contract, meaning your employer must contract for certain survivor benefits. Eligibility to retire, and your separation date if not actively working. To find more information about the benefits we're about to discuss, you should read the Members Benefit publication, We have 3 versions depending on your member category. Publication 3 is for school members. Publication 4 is for state members. Publication 5 is for public agency members. All 3 publications can be downloaded from our website under Forms and Publication. Pre-retirement survivor benefits can be broken down by either lump sum and monthly benefits. Lump sum benefits include the limited death benefit, basic death benefit, and group term life insurance. Monthly benefits include the pre-retirement option 2W death benefit, the 1957 survivor benefit, special death benefit, the alternate death benefit, and the 1959 survivor benefit. We're going to talk about each one of these, but please keep in mind that not everyone has these benefits available to the beneficiaries or survivors. You'll remember many factors determine what benefits will be available to your beneficiaries or survivors. Because there's so many factors that affect benefits payable, it's not possible for us to say what benefits will be paid. This determination will be made upon your death and after we receive all required documentations. Also, it's possible that more than one benefit may be payable. For example, it's possible that your spouse or registered domestic partner could receive the group term life insurance and the pre-retirement option 2W death benefit. And lastly, survivors may be eligible for survivor health benefits. CalPERS will determine if your dependents are eligible to continue health benefits after your death. Again, there are numerous factors that determine your benefits your survivors will be eligible upon your passing. So we can't say for sure what benefits will be available until after we received all the required documentation. The first benefit we're going to talk about is the limited death benefit, which is payable to an inactive member's designated or statutory beneficiary. Inactive members are separated from CalPERS employment but have left their service credit and contributions on file. This benefit pays out your contribution and interest earned through the date of death. The benefit can be payable if you were separated from employment for more than 120 days prior to your death and your separation was not due to an injury or illness that prevented you from working. The basic death benefit is a lump sum death benefit that pays out an active member's contribution and interest earned through the date of death. It also pays up to 6 months of your salary. This benefit is payable if no one is eligible for a monthly allowance or if the person's eligible for a monthly allowance instead decides to take the basic death benefit. It's also payable if someone other than your spouse or registered domestic partner is designated to receive all or a portion of the lump sum benefit. The basic death benefit is payable to either your designated beneficiary or, if none, your statutory beneficiary. You do not have to be eligible to retire for this benefit to be payable. For state members, the lump sum benefits are somewhat different than normal basic death benefit. When a state member passes away, the basic death benefit is payable as a return of contribution and interest with the group term life insurance. The group term life insurance consists of a tax-free amount of $5,000 and an amount equal to 6 months of your salary, which can be tax-free if you're not eligible to retire and taxable if you are eligible to retire. It's payable to the same beneficiary who will receive the pre-retirement option 2W death benefit, the 1957 survivor benefit, basic death benefit, special death benefit, or the alternate death benefit. If there are multiple beneficiaries, then the benefit will be divided equally between all of them. This is the last lump sum benefit, so we are going to move on to the monthly benefit. The pre-retirement option 2W death benefit is a monthly allowance equal to the amount you would have received had you retired on a service retirement on your date of death and elected 100% of the option portion of your ongoing monthly benefit. This calculation also included any unused sick leave that can be converted. Your employer must contract for sick leave conversion for it to be included. Your employer must specifically contract for this benefit, and you must be eligible to retire at the time of your passing. This benefit is payable to your spouse or registered domestic partner until their death. Upon their passing, the benefit can continue to their natural or adopted unmarried children until they turn 18. The 1957 survivor benefit is a monthly allowance that equals 50% of your unmodified allowance had you retired on a service retirement on the date of your death. The unmodified allowance is what you've earned and is the highest monthly amount that you can receive in retirement. To find out what your unmodified allowance might be, you can run retirement estimates on your MyCalPERS account. If you have unused sick leave at the time of your passing and your employer contracts for unused sick leave conversion, it can be converted to service credit and included in your calculation. All employers who contract for CalPERS retirement benefit must provide the 1957 survivor benefit to their members, but the benefit can only be paid if you are eligible to retire on the date of your passing. This benefit is payable to your spouse or registered domestic partner until their death. Upon their passing, the benefit can continue to their natural or adopted unmarried children until they turn 18. The special death benefit is a monthly allowance that equals to 50% of your final compensation. It's payable to your spouse or registered domestic partner, or if no spouse or registered domestic partner, then it can be paid to natural or adopted unmarried children or eligible stepchildren under age 22. If there are eligible surviving children, the allowance may be increased to a maximum of 75%. This is known as additional special death benefit. If there is no spouse or registered domestic partner eligible for this benefit, any eligible children would be eligible for the 50% of your final compensation and not that 75%. This benefit is payable when any safety member's cause of death is determined to be job-related, or when a state miscellaneous, state industrial, or public agency miscellaneous member dies as a direct result of a violent act while performing their official duties. Public agencies must specifically contract for this benefit. You do not have to be eligible to retire for this benefit to be payable. The alternate death benefit is available to survivors of state members. You must be the minimum retirement age and have 20 or more years of state service credit. Additionally, you cannot be represented by collective bargaining or must be a member of a bargaining unit that specifically contracts for this benefit. This monthly benefit is equal to the amount you would have received had you retired on a service retirement at your minimum retirement age and chosen option 2W. The minimum retirement age is 50 or 52 if hired after January 1st of 2013, or 55 if you are a state second-tier member. This benefit is payable to your spouse or registered domestic partner. Upon their death, the benefit can continue to your natural or adopted unmarried children under age 18. If you do not have an eligible spouse or registered domestic partner, your unmarried children under age 18 will receive half of your unmodified allowance that you would have received at your minimum retirement age until they turn age 18. The other members whose survivors may possibly be eligible for alternate death benefits are public agency firefighters whose agency contracts for this benefit. You must be under minimum service retirement age and have 20 or more years of CalPERS service credit. The payable survivors and what they would receive is the same as what we just went over for the state alternate death benefit. The last benefit we're going to talk about is the 1959 survivor benefit. State and school employers automatically contract for the 1959 survivor benefit, but public agencies must specifically contract for it. This benefit is only available if you are not covered by Social Security, and you must pay into the 1959 benefit through a payroll deduction. The amount paid and who is eligible for payment depends on the level contracted for. In the coming slides, we're going to talk about who may be eligible to receive this benefit, the requirements, and the levels. For a spouse or registered domestic partner to qualify for a monthly death benefit, you must have been married or in a partnership either before the injury occurred or the illness began that led to your death, or for at least 1 year prior to your death. For the 1959 survivor benefits, there are additional requirements that must be met. They also must either have care of an eligible child or be at least age 60 or 62. Whether they're paid at 60 or 62 depends on your employer's contract. Eligible children cannot be married and must be under age 22. If they are married before age 22, the benefit will stop. Eligible disabled children must be unmarried, incapacitated because of a disability beginning before age 22, and incapable of gainful employment. The benefit stops if they marry or if their disability ends. Stepchildren may be eligible if they are unmarried, under age 22, and must have been living with you in a parent-child relationship prior to your death. Lastly, parents at least age 60 or 62, depending on the employer's contract, may be eligible if there is no surviving spouse, registered domestic partner, or eligible children, and they were dependent on you for at least half of their support at the time of death. They will have to submit documentation, including copies of tax returns to establish eligibility. The 1959 survivor benefit has 6 benefit levels. The applicable level depends on the contract the employer has with us. Public agency members may be covered by any of the first 4 levels or by the indexed level. Levels 1 through 3 are no longer open to new agency contract amendments. If you'd like to know what level your employer contracts for, you can contact them or call us. School and state members are covered under Level 5. The benefit amount depends on how many eligible survivors exist. Here is a chart that shows the amount payable under each level depending on the number of eligible survivors. For any level, if we're paying children only, the total benefit is paid equally amongst all eligible children. Next, we're going to talk about reporting a death to CalPERS. When you pass away, your family should notify CalPERS. The preferred method would be online notification, but they can call CalPERS. They should also notify your employer. If your family calls to report your death, there is some information we'll need. We'll request the name and CalPERS ID or Social Security number of the deceased and the date of death. Additionally, we'll need the name of a surviving spouse, registered domestic partner, address, phone number, date of birth, date of marriage, and Social Security number of the surviving spouse. If there is no spouse, we will need the name, address, phone number of the closest next of kin. Lastly, we will need the name and address and phone number of the person reporting the death. Once the death has been reported, we'll send the Pre-Retirement Survivors Benefits publication, which is Publication 55, to the person indicated on the death report. If the death is reported online, the online application process is elected. A link to the publication will be provided. There will be an application form and tax withholding form included. In addition to these forms, a photocopy of your death certificate indicating the matter of death should be submitted. Photocopies of certain personal documents may be required and should be submitted along with the application. For example, we may require a copy of your marriage certificate or your child's birth certificate. A complete list of documents possibly required will be in the Pre-Retirement Survivor Benefits publication. Each person who is entitled to a lump sum or monthly benefit must submit their own application forms, although we will only need one death certificate. If the person filling out the form needs assistance, they can call us at 888-225-7377. We can go over the forms with them and discuss what other documents that will need to be submitted. Once we received all required documentation, it takes about 40 to 60 days to process and release benefit.
If you are facing a terminal illness or an immediate comatose condition, there is an option possibly available to you. The emergency retirement process is something we hope you never have to use, but it is important to be aware that it exists. An emergency retirement is a special handling of a retirement application. It expedites the application process and ensures that your wishes for your retirement benefits are honored after your passing. It also helps to protect the optimal benefit for your beneficiary and survivor. In order to be eligible, you must be facing potential death where you may not survive the normal processing timeframe, which is typically 90 to 120 days. If you are in one of these situations, you, your family, or employer should contact CalPERS immediately. Our call center and regional offices have specific procedures that need to be followed, so the earlier we are notified, the better. If an emergency retirement is necessary, team members from the closest regional office can provide counseling to you and your family. We can visit virtually or possibly travel to you to assist in person, but counseling doesn't always need to be done at your home or hospital. If you're mobile or have someone to help you, we may set up an appointment. Any retirement application must be received before you pass away. So this is another important reason to contact us as soon as possible. If you're eligible, an emergency retirement can be filed as service retirement, disability, or industrial disability. Your application can be signed by you, an improved conservator, or an improved attorney-in-fact. If you are to sign the application, you must be competent to handle your own affairs. Otherwise, we will need the conservator or attorney-in-fact to sign the application. Your attorney-in-fact may be able to sign your application, but they must have the specific rights to choose a retirement option and beneficiary. The emergency retirement process is an important reason to have a power of attorney on file with us. If you have one, but it's not on file with us, this can lengthen the process. We have a CalPERS Special Power of Attorney, Pub 30, that is only used for CalPERS business. Find it on our Forms and Publications webpage. When submitting the application, emergency must be written at the top. After this presentation, you may be wondering where you can get more information. You can read your member benefits publication. It has information about the survivor benefits we just went over. You can also send us a message in your MyCalPERS account. In many cases, we will be able to give you a personalized response. But remember, we won't be able to tell you what pre-retirement survivor benefits will be payable upon your death. That will not happen until you have passed away and we have received all required documentation. You can call our Customer Contact Center at 888-CalPERS or 888-225-7377. They can discuss general information about pre-retirement survivor benefits. And if you're in a situation where an emergency application may need to be submitted, you, your family, or employer should call us as soon as possible. Lastly, you can make an appointment with a regional office counselor. Log in to your MyCalPERS account, select Education, then select Appointments. Let's do a quick knowledge check. What is the difference between a beneficiary and a survivor? A beneficiary is anyone you choose to designate. A survivor is determined by law. I want to take one last opportunity to tell you that this video is available on our YouTube channel. Access our YouTube channel through our website, www.calpers.ca.gov, or directly on the YouTube website at www.youtube.com/calpers. Our presentation today was intended to give you an understanding of pre-retirement survivor benefits. To reinforce the information you have received today, I encourage you to take one of our member education classes. You can enroll in your MyCalPERS account under Education. Please note that CalPERS is governed by the Public Employees Retirement Law. The information in this presentation is general. The retirement law is complex and subject to change. If there is a conflict between the law and the information presented in this presentation, any decisions will be based on the law. Later today, you will receive an email with a short evaluation. Please answer all of the questions, as it is important for us to get your feedback to help us improve these presentations. Thank you for taking time out of your day to attend this presentation and have a great day.